Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the Frontline Changes Report for the day of 893 for the 4th of August. So it's for the past 24 hours, and in fact it's actually not even 24 hours, but anyway, a lot of frontline changes. All of them is red and some very super significant one. So we have frontline changes. I'm going to follow the sitrep going anti-clockwise direction. We have Robotyne, Verbove, Urozhaine, Serhievka, Vesele, Ivanivka, Zalizne, Pivnichne, and Canal. And actually, I feel like I just want to go clockwise. So because don't know, frontline changes report feels natural for clockwise. So anyway, we go to Canal at the Bakhmut front. So according to the Ukrainian mapping, Deep State UA. Deep State UA has announced that the Ukrainian forces have withdrawn from the Stupki Global Holubovsky 2 track, and basically is this one, Stupy Golubovsky 2. So the Ukrainian forces basically have withdrawn from this area entirely. So Ukrainian forces withdrawn from the entire of this Canal micro district region, and in fact, based on the mapping, it seems like they have agreed that the Russian forces have taken all of the eastern part of this canal, and basically the Russians have taken all these grounds according to the Ukrainian mapping. And this is the first time the Ukrainians have actually not the first time, but it's one of those rare times that the Ukrainian side acknowledged that they have retreated entirely voluntarily, maybe, in terms of the way how they described it. So anyway, this is what it is. They can't hold that bridgehead, and the Russians are progressing. So we shall see how this develop over in this area in the Bakhmut front. The next front line change, we move all the way to Pivnichne over at the New York front. So you can see this is the Toretsk sector. Yeah, it looks bad. So over at the Pivnichne region, based on Ukrainian mapping and the geolocation of Russian forces right in the middle of this entire neighborhood region. So I first saw this geolocation and I mapped it like this, and after that I saw the Ukrainian mapping that acknowledged this and agreed and concurred that the Russian forces have conquered the entire region here. So based on this mapping, Russian forces have taken most of the eastern part of Pivnichne, or basically almost all of the eastern part of Pivnichne, in this massive frontline change. As I mentioned, once you see, there is, because nowadays the Russian forces are making such huge progress on a daily basis. When you have a few days there's no updates, the next intel drop is always going to be pretty massive, and to me this is huge. Like, the Ukrainians are not actually defending. At this speed, I would say that over the past few days, the Russians are basically clearing house by house. Because there could be booby traps, there could be ambush, there could be still Ukrainian forces, holding up in these houses. So clearing operations will also take a long time. And from the speed of the progress, it feels like the Russians are just doing clearing. They're not really fighting much. Very little fighting. Although this geolocation did say that the Russians took out an armored vehicle and then cleared the position. But it seems like there is not a lot of resistance per se. That the Russians are just slowly walking and moving forward. That's the sense I get. But anyway, we shall see how this goes. There is still a little bit more for the Russians to capture before they can take the entire southern half of Pivnichne. So anyway, we shall continue to monitor this part. And over on this Zalizne region, also in the Toretsk sector of the New York front, the Ukrainian mapping have mapped this area. So for my mapping, when I saw the geolocation, this is how I mapped it. But the Ukrainian mapping have put a lot more grounds to be captured by the Russian forces along here. And definitely this shows that the Russians are already in Toretsk, and they can now launch attack into this Dacha region. So we shall see how this goes. This is going to take some time. I think this entire area is cemetery. So let's see how this goes. I think Raiba. So, and I think the next frontline change exactly is here. So Russian mapping. So this is what this part was the geolocation that I done, and then I have mapped it in this way in the previous Frontline Changes report. The Russian mapping has came out, and they show a larger claim. This is the entire claim from the Russian side. So they claim much bigger and grounds to be taken, and also it lines up along the entire electrical substation around here. So this is a huge ground that the Russians have taken from Zalizny, and it looks like they can actually attack into Toretsk in this neighborhood. I will go and figure out the name for this neighborhood. I suspect it will have its own name, but this also allows the Russians to attack towards Nelipivka. I will talk more about this configuration and I mean this strategic tactical situation around here. I talked a bit about it during the DPA open mic. You may want to watch it. It just ended before this recording. So this is the frontline change over at Zalizny. The next frontline change after Zalizny is over at Ivanivka. So Ivanivka over here, based on the latest Ukrainian mapping, the Ukrainian side have acknowledged that the Russians have made progress in the Zalizny and the Ivanivka region, with Russian forces continue to make some progress within Ivanivka, and the Russians have flanked south of Lysychny. So the Russians are making this southern flanking move, and they are definitely setting themselves up for pretty good covering fire if they need to when they attack Lysychny. And of course this side, when they cover here, they can also support the operations when they're trying to conquer the northern part of Ivanivka. Whatever it is, these are the frontline change around here, and this also includes this area where the Ukrainian mapping have now given up. They now has say that this is now under Russian control. They have invalidated themselves or disclaimed the Ukrainian side still have any gray zones or positions around here. But I did mention before, it's an impossible position for them to have any Ukrainian forces there. It's open ground surrounded by the 2 tree lines that is under Russian control, so it's just not possible. So the concession is pretty much predictable. And there's new updates around Serhievka Zeleny region south of Vasily. Russian forces have entered Serhievka as predicted from the south, from the railway line, and they also seemingly push around the tree line, moving towards westward towards Serhievka. And over Zeleny region, they also expanded their control and also continue to move southward along the railway line. So they still are not stopping the railway. This Russian train is still continuing down the railway, and they're going to continue to move on from here. And they have expanded into Zeleny now. So this, coupled with this previous development that I've mentioned, this is looking really bad for the Ukrainian forces that is trying to defend Zeleny against the Russians. And they are blocked by water bodies around here. In case you do not know, there is a water body here. It's something like a river. So this put them into a very, very precarious position. There is only this way out, and this, I think there's this way out. So, or they have to go around. So they have to make quick decisions. If this, so no, let's not go too much into the analysis. No, it's a bad habit. It's getting to become a bad habit. So after this area here, we go all the way to the next frontline change is over at Urozhaine. At Urozhaine, the Russian forces has been geolocated in the northern outskirt of Urozhaine, and with this movement, this confirms the full capture of Urozhaine. Although we have already declared this on the 13th of July, but this is the first sign of geolocation that proven that Urozhaine is fully secured, with the Russian forces moving north in the northern outskirts of Urozhaine already. So this is the frontline change over in the Velika Novosilka sector of the Donetsk front, and the next frontline change is over at the Orikhiv sector of the Zaporizhia front. So this is Zaporizhia front and the Orikhiv sector. Some massive update around here. So in the this is Verbove, this is Robotyne, and I want to zoom in. So at Robotyne region, there is this very peculiar geolocation, geolocated by Creamy Caprice, and they have in the video footage, the drone footage shows that the Russian forces is clearing trenches position along this trench line. This trench line is this trench line here. This trench line here is part of the Surovikin Line, the famous Surovikin Line, the original Russian defensive line that was meant to defend against Ukrainian offensive. So it was then taken by the Ukrainian forces during the 2023 counteroffensive when they captured Robotyne and are trying to head towards Verbove. The Russian forces geolocated here may suggest that the Russians have already captured, now has captured the entire of this salient, which was pretty much mostly in the gray zone for a long time, and only the small part of this Surovikin line over here, only this area here is firmly under Ukrainian control. But with this geolocation, now everything is put in doubt. But because this is only just a geolocation, this is only just one geolocation, but it's right in the middle of this entire thing. I have gone a little bit more liberal on this, and I will declare this entire region here, the entire Surovikin line east of Robotyne, captured by the Russian forces. And this also includes these two parcels of land here, which was previously, claimed to be under Ukrainian control, but the Russian mapping shows that it's under Russian control. I have invalidated the claim. The entire area here is now under Russian control. This is not confirmed by any mapping yet, which is why this is a bit of a judgment call from DPA. But we shall see, because strategically, tactically speaking, I just don't see how the Ukrainians are still there, because the Russian forces is already doing clearing operation. They are going into the foxhole or the trench or the bunker. They just drop grenades in. The drones are following it, overseeing and taking care of the soldiers, looking at his back, looking for his six, looking after his six. So yeah, so this is the big update, I would say, from this Frontline Changes Report. Huge update. And if this is corroborated by RIBA or by Deep State UA, I could imagine the shock in terms of the entire change of the strategic situation around here. As you can imagine, Russians retaking this entire area basically almost fully negated all the capture the Ukrainians have done during the 2023 counteroffensive. The previous Russian line was here. In case you do not know, this was the original line was here. This is all the Ukrainian capture. Ukrainians captured all these grounds previously. So now the Russians are now looking to go back to this position, and the most difficult part probably is now done. So anyway, this is all of the frontline changes over the past 24 hours for the 4th of August. Do press the like button, subscribe. Do check out the DPA Open Mic. We have some great discussion over the past over 7 hours, almost 7 hours. So do check it out. I think you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the next update.